Hello, it's me, Cynical Italian. Welcome to my game room, trophy room. I know it's a little different. I'm not behind the bar today. We're going to do a reaction video. And I thought the best way to start with a reaction video is Christmas Mandela Effects. Do you know what a Mandela Effect is? That is when you believe that something is a certain way and always has been, and then they tell you that that's not true. And you are like, no, it is. I remember. Like a personal Mandela effect for me is when I was a kid, I would put everything on it that the Big Mac in the 80s had 2 pieces of cheese. But I guess it's only ever had one. But it had 2 pieces of cheese. So that's a Mandela effect. So sit back. It is Christmas. I got my eggnog. Is it spiked? Maybe. Never know. But I got my eggnog. We got the big game TV set up. And let's check out some Christmas Mandela effects. Like, subscribe, comment, do the thing. Let's do our reaction video, guys.
December is here, so let's get into some Christmas Mandela effects. A Mandela effect is a crazy phenomenon where a group of people have a clear, collective memory of something that apparently never happened. It's a strange phenomenon where some people are always affected,
2 pieces of cheese,
and others are somewhere in between. No one really knows why this is, but that's what makes it so fun to talk about. I've got 8 Christmas-themed Mandela effects for you today, so let's get right into it. Starting off today's video is the classic Christmas song, I'll Be Home for Christmas. The lyrics for the song go as follows. I'll be home for Christmas. You can blank on me.
Count on me.
What goes in the blank?
You can count on me.
You can count on me?
Yeah.
Or is it you can plan on me?
No, it's count.
If you're like so many of us, you probably said you can count on me. But that is now apparently wrong and has always been wrong. It's you can plan on me.
No, it's not.
Tell me, is this what you remember? This Mandela effect has blown away everyone, and I mean everyone. So what about the dozens and dozens of versions of this song? Surely one of them.
Everybody has sang the song. I think that it's count.
Let's check them out. What about Bing Crosby?
You can plan.
Michael Bublé.
You can plan.
Frank Sinatra.
Frankie.
You can plan.
Yeah, so I guess it was always planned. I'd have put money on it that it was count. I don't believe it.
Martin.
These are all my Italian guys singing it, and they're all saying plan.
Harry Como.
You can plan.
Crazy.
If the lyric "You Can Count on Me" exists, which it very well might, it's in none of the classic and well-known versions of this song. So, what happened to it? Why do we all remember this? Let's talk about a line from a scene in the classic Christmas movie Home Alone that apparently never existed. Not in deleted scenes, or in its theatrical release, or its trailer, it just doesn't exist. Here's the scene. The 2 burglars, Marv and Harry, are chasing down Kevin because they're suspicious of him. After an interaction where they almost hit him with their van, the chase concludes at a church where the lines, maybe went into the church. I'm not going in there. Me neither, are said. That's how the line goes now. So what's missing? Many people remember one of them saying the line, that place gives me the creeps, but it's no longer said. Maybe went to church. Not going there. Me neither.
That place gives me the creeps.
Let's get out of here. That line doesn't exist anymore in any versions of the movie, but tons of people online remember this. What about you?
That's a tough one.
Grinch. Every year
I can see where it would fit, but I don't remember. Maybe.
So it's finally time to cover it. Let's do it. What is the name of this Christmas book and movie retelling the story of the Grinch?
The Grinch Who Stole Christmas?
Or is it How the Grinch Stole Christmas? This is one of those that didn't necessarily affect me, but there are so many cases of people on
It's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, isn't it?
It can't possibly be ignored. I mean, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of comments and posts.
I want to say it's the Grinch Who Stole Christmas.
Differently than it is now. The correct answer is How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I want to hear your thoughts on this because so many people remember this differently, And yet all of those
How the
people
Grinch Stole
remember it
Christmas.
the exact same way. This is what I find so weird about all of this.
Yeah, that might have been a subliminal.
Does anyone remember the North Pole? Story-wise, it's where Santa and his workshop reside.
Mm-hmm.
It's where the toys are made and where the reindeers like Dunder and Blitzen live. This place is located at the northernmost hemisphere of the Earth, just like the South Pole is located on the southernmost hemisphere of the Earth. This northern point lies diametrically opposite to its southern point and is defined directionally as true north. So tell me, what exists in the North Pole? Is it a snowy landmass or a vast ocean? The answer is a vast ocean, the Arctic Ocean to be precise. Obviously, the North Pole doesn't exist as the Christmas story explains it, but there has to be a snowy landmass up there, right? Nope. The North Pole doesn't exist in that sense.
Wow.
Get this. We have known that the North Pole was an ocean as early as the 16th century. So this isn't some new change. It's a fact that we've had for nearly 500 years. These inconsistencies
there is no North Pole.
Ever-changing ice formations found within the Arctic Sea, or perhaps through changes to this planet's climate. But nonetheless,
okay, that one got me.
There is no North Pole as a landmass.
There is no North Pole.
Snowy or otherwise. It's just a big open ocean. Pull up a map and look for yourself.
That one got me.
So what do you remember? Am I alone in remembering there being a big snowy landmass on top of our globes growing up? You have to admit, this
it's all snow up there.
Tech-savvy kids growing up, when they Google
but you're telling me it's all. But I want to say that when I look at a map, it's all snow up there.
That's the true scary part of this video. We're looking at the names of Santa's reindeers. As most of you might remember, they go like this: Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, and Vixen, Comet, Cupid, and what comes next?
Donner and Blitzen.
Donner and Blitzen?
Yes.
Or Dunder and Blitzen. The way I have always known them.
Donner and Blitzen.
Donner and Blitzen. So obviously that can't be right anymore. Their names now are Dunder and Blitzen.
No, they're not.
I'll let that sink in. As always, with all Mandela Effects, sometimes what you remember has never changed.
It's Donner and Blitzen.
Different. Some affect everyone, and some affect very few.
Tell me in the comments.
I say this
Donner and Blitzen?
Who might be confused. I'm sure some of the people watching this remember Dunder and Blitzen.
No, I've never heard.
People do not. To us, it's Donner and Blitzen. These 8 reindeer names originated in a poem by Clement.
I have never seen Dunder and Blitzen or heard Dunder and Blitzen in my life.
This poem is also known today as "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." Somehow or another, it seems that every reindeer name has been memorized and recited with perfect clarity over hundreds of years, except for Dunder and Blitzen. What do you think about this?
No.
Has this always been a mistranslated game of telephone, or a massive case of misremembering? Or has the Mandela Effect made yet another change to our collective history and memory? I can't wait to hear what you have to say below. And for the people with kids out there, get them to name all of Santa's reindeers. I'm super curious to hear what they say. Let us all know in the comments below. Let's actually delve deeper into that poem I mentioned earlier called "'Twas the Night Before Christmas."
Okay.
It turns out there's actually another Mandela Effect hiding inside of that poem. So just like with Smokey Bear, sometimes when things are very closely examined, multiple effects can be discovered. I'm going to read a verse from that poem, and I'm going to leave an area blank. I want you to tell me what goes in that blank space. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap
had just settled down for a long winter's nap.
What goes in that?
Just settled down.
Is it our brains, or is it down?
Down.
The correct answer is, for some strange reason, our brains.
No, it's not.
Remember that? How does that make you feel? I personally remember, and Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap. Is this a case of mass misremembering?
Settled our brains?
Did we all remember this poem incorrectly, or has this changed from what you remember? And is yet another example of the Mandela Effect.
Never heard that before.
Let me hear all of your thoughts below. Is this too sexy?
Commercial. Stupid commercials. Sorry. Yeah, do that. Subscribe.
This one is strange. So strange I don't even have an introduction or a thoughtful question to ask you about it. Have you ever heard of an upside-down Christmas tree? Yes or no? The answer is yes.
Yes.
Upside-down Christmas trees are a thing.
Yep.
The upside-down Christmas trees are pine trees or fir trees that are flipped upside down so that the wider base is at the top.
We've never done it, but I like the ones that hang from the ceiling, not
in modern days. This trend caught on when holiday window displays at major stores
Mhm.
put upside-down Christmas trees out so that more ornaments could be seen by the public. This bizarre phenomenon supposedly dates back to 12th century Eastern Europe, where the upside-down Christmas tree was meant to represent the Christian Holy Trinity somehow. Have any of you ever heard of this now popular and widely known Christmas tradition? Upside-down Christmas trees just seem impractical and silly to me. Yeah, here they are. Do you place your trees like this?
No.
Do you know anyone that does?
No.
Have you even seen this before?
Yes.
I never have, not once. In all the department stores, all the friends' houses, all the homes I've lived in, I've never heard of this before. Historical Mandela effect changes are the weirdest ones to talk about because for some people, this is a totally normal thing. And for the rest of us, it's completely unheard of. December is here, and like many, Christmas is on my mind. So let's make a Christmas video. Obviously, decorations and colder weather are a part of the season, but so is Christmas shopping, if you participate in that. I did most of my shopping online, but just to feel nostalgic, I went and visited some physical stores. Now, as I walked around one of these dying ancient retail monuments, I noticed something that really confused me. I heard a classic song playing over the speaker in a department store. Upon hearing the song, I got a little confused.
Up on the housetop, reindeer paws.
Up on the housetop? I always thought it was up on the rooftop. So I went and looked it up, and here are the results. Up on the Housetop is a Christmas song by Benjamin Handy in 1864.
Up on the housetop.
Now, if you're like me, you remember it being up on the rooftop. So, did it change?
I mean, I guess I can think of
variations of it, or is this an example of the Mandela effect?
I can remember it both ways.
We're going to get into that. But first, a quick and tragic history lesson about Benjamin Hanby. Why, you might ask? Well, I'm in a given.
Why?
And what's better than an interesting backstory? Benjamin Hanby was born in Rushville, Ohio, to a local bishop by the name of William Hanby.
We're going to learn something today.
In the administration of the Underground Railroad. If you don't know what that was, the Underground Railroad in America was a network of people, both black and white, offering aid and shelter to escaped slaves from the South. Benjamin Hanby vehemently opposed slavery.
What kind of Mandela effects can you think of? If you've heard of some, hit me up. Get me in the comments and tell me what kind of Mandela effect things.
Because he had alternative views on church music
you
compared to what
think that are a certain way, but then we're told that it was a different way.
Because he failed at keeping his position in numerous churches, Benjamin had trouble providing for his wife and children. There was one point in time where he wrote a song called Darling Nellie Gray, which he sent the manuscript of to a publisher called the Oliver Ditson Company of Boston. He assumed that the song had been rejected until he heard his sister singing it at a recital. It was soon discovered that the Oliver Ditson Company had published the song under Hanby's name, but claimed the copyright for themselves. The Hanby sued the firm, but only won $50, which is about $1,560 today, as well as 12 free copies of sheet music. Benjamin eventually ran a singing school and crafted music for the John Church.
Let's get back to the Mandela effect.
He still didn't make enough money to
we got a couple more to go.
When it was all said and done, Benjamin Hanby ultimately crafted and published over 80 songs, but passed away at the young age of 33 from tuberculosis. Like so many great artists throughout history, he wasn't truly recognized during his lifetime.
Right.
Now that you have the background on Benjamin Hanby, let's get to the bottom of this mystery surrounding his song.
Okay.
Upon doing some research, the first thing I found was an article called Up on the Rooftop on a website called ChristmasHeadquarters.com. Okay,
no, I think it was up on the housetop.
I mean, ChristmasHeadquarters.com.
I can see where it's up on the rooftop, and maybe I remember it that way, or I've sang it that way before.
The writer calls it
but I think it's up on the housetop.
The YouTube video says up on the housetop. Huh? How could you not notice that difference? You put the video in your article. The article even says Up on the Rooftop was written by Benjamin Hanby. If you click on his name, it takes you to the Wikipedia page for him, where it says he composed Up on the Housetop. Why does the name keep changing? Was it written to be Housetop, or was it written to be Rooftop? Well, apparently, the original lyrics are as follows.
Up on the house, no delay, no pause. Clatter the steed of Santa Claus. Down throw the chimney with loads of toys. Oh, for the little ones, Christmas joys.
That is nothing like the song we sing.
The shorter version right there, I think that's incredible. I think we should all just sing that instead.
Yeah, it's
anyway,
nothing
apparently
like it.
It wasn't ever Rooftop. And as for Housetop, that's only in the name of the song. In the original lyrics, it only ever says house. So what do you think about all this? Or does it even matter? Is this just a song that changed over time? Just like how people in different parts of the world
that one changed over time because I think that I have sang it both ways.
Because of that, the lyrics changed over time. Or would you attribute this to the Mandela effect? Honestly, for this one, I don't really know.
I agree with him. I don't know that that's a Mandela effect one or that song actually has different versions.
Further, I found a ton of renditions of this song using Housetop and only a few country versions using Rooftop. So make of that as you will. For this next Mandela effect, we are traveling to an island called Spalart. This Norwegian archipelago is located in the Arctic Ocean, way north of Europe. Have you ever heard of this island before? From what I have come to understand during my research, Spalart is a hotly contested Mandela effect. Numerous people claim that they have never seen or heard of this island before, despite globes, atlases, and world maps being widespread and prevalent in schools across the United States of America.
I don't know that I've ever heard
pictures of those same globes,
but I think that I've seen pictures and I've learned about this island
sitting right where it belongs
since then, because I want to say that
I'm not claiming to be an expert on
it's
this
one of those
I just think
places
it's
that
very interesting and pretty fascinating that so many people are
the sun
arguing
never
about
goes
this.
down.
Have you ever heard of it before? I'm sure there are more than a few.
Yeah, I think that's the place where the sun never in the
polar bears,
summer.
And even Santa
The
Claus
sun never goes down at all.
I'm not even joking. Not to mention, there's a man named Santa Claus that lives there in an old mine. I'm not joking. Go look it up. I guess what happens in the Arctic Ocean.
That's not the North Pole, though.
Frosty the Snowman is a childhood classic to many in the United States.
Yep.
He was a snowman brought to life through magic in a 1950 recording.
Uh-huh.
Became a household name in his 1969 animated film debut. Frosty the Snowman is a memorable character, and if you ask most people, they can describe every detail about him. But miraculously, Frosty is now missing something. So here's what I'd like you to do. Visualize all of the accessories and clothing articles on Frosty the Snowman. Now, what do you see? Let's see.
He had a handkerchief,
a button nose,
a button
two
nose,
eyes made out of coal,
2 eyes made out of coal.
Here's the Mandela Effect. Which of these items did he never adorn in the 1969 film? An old silk hat, a corncob pipe, a red scarf, a broom.
A broom.
Frosty the Snowman has an old silk hat, a broom, and a corncob pipe. But
he had a scarf.
Red scarf. Do you remember a red scarf?
I remember a red scarf.
Dozens of people online seem to remember Frosty the Snowman wearing a scarf.
I remember a scarf.
Red. So where did it go? Why do so many people remember this detail that now seemingly doesn't
We
exist?
put scarves on them when we made snowmen when I was a kid.
Even some modern-day Frosty the Snowman publications and media today show him wearing a red scarf. If you compare the past and the present, at some point, some artist said, "Oh yeah, of course he has a red scarf," and drew Frosty with a red scarf.
So I don't know that that's a Mandela effect. That's another one that
has been altered in some slight way.
Yeah,
or is this
just over time people added it to it, and so then you think of it that way.
Argue over in the comments below. Oh, and before I leave this topic, check out this funny little detail. Look at what the kids are wearing in Frosty the Snowman.
Shorts.
See anything wrong with this image? Did the creative behind these illustrations grow up in a place without snow?
Yeah, they are
realize it's cold. These kids are wearing shorts in a blizzard. Anyway.
Yeah.
There you have it. 8 Christmas Mandela Effects. I hope this year you get everything you want and that you get to spend a bunch of time with the people you love. I have one more video coming out this.
Yeah. So, what do you think of that? Those Mandela effects. There was a few in there that 100% I mentally disagree with, and those are Mandela effects. There were a couple that I don't think were Mandela effects. That definitely were things that were changed over time by people, and you've seen them or heard them both ways. But Mandela effects are crazy. And they happen all over the world in all kinds of different things. So that was fun, seeing some Christmas Mandela effects. I hope that you all have a very Merry Christmas and bring on 2025. Thank you all for watching our videos. Hit the like button and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't take but a minute. So yeah, hit those up. Help us out. Having a great time. We'll do more reaction videos in the future, but that was a fun one for the first one. All right. Again, Merry Christmas. I'm Josiah, Cynical Italian. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.